Though Kamala Harris has almost exclusively pandered to her minority base, black men may make it so Trump wins and may vote for him more than any election in maybe the last 40 years. Ben Shapiro and Vince Everett Ellison sat down and talked about how black men might just put Trump over the edge. Take a look.
You are seeing a divergence between how black women vote and how black men vote. And that's mirrored across the political spectrum, actually. You are seeing a major divergence now between how women, not married women, married women tend to vote like married men, which tends to be Republican, but single women and single men are voting very differently. And that is particularly true in the black community, where black women are voting in extraordinary numbers for Democrats, and black men are voting a little bit less so for Democrats. Why do you think that gender gap is now emerging?
Yeah, you have a lot of black men who are alpha males. And, you've seen the culture. They walk around, they swaggering and they talking trash. They talk about how many jokers they done shot and how many women they got. But there's an alpha maleness in these men where in the black community, the worst thing you could call somebody is effeminate or gay. And they have found through social media, through shows like yours and shows like mine, that the Democratic Party supports all of this. They see that the Democratic Party is about destroying the family, that they have set up a system that is basically trying to castrate men. They see that they are using the public educational system to sexualize their children. They now understand about Drag Queen Story Hour, that they have set up a public educational system that sets their sons in front of men and shake their asses in their sons' faces. They see that the Democratic Party set up a system called Obamacare, where if your son wants to be transitioned, they'll pay for it. You see Tim Walz up in the state of Minnesota. That's made his state a sanctuary state. That if your child wants a sex change operation, that if they can get up to Minnesota, he'll give them protection and he'll pay for it. They're seeing that the Democratic Party wants to take away your right to pray to your God.
This is why Andrew Breitbart famously said that politics is downstream of culture, because if you look at black men right now in America, they're not a culture that jives well with Democrats. Let's just, off the top of our heads, let's just think about a few things. Drag parties. Does that sound like just your typical black man is just into that? Endless money to wars like Ukraine, Israel. No, they don't care about that. And along with that, inflation and cost of living. They just want a normal life. Again, this is things that normal people want, but I think if you look at black men, and especially what Vince is saying in that video, they have a culture of masculinity, and the Democrats don't. They just don't. And they'll even put out ads. I've showed them on the show before. They'll put out ads kind of trying to pander to people with masculinity, and it's so blatantly clear in those ads that they have no idea. Like, there's not a single person on Kamala Harris's team that actually knows what masculinity is or knows what a masculine person is into. Like, they'll put Tim Walz out there working on his car and replacing an air filter. And they're like, this is genius. This is really going to get those masculine men into it. And we're all looking at it, and we're like, and I'm not really, I wouldn't say I'm the poster child of a masculine man, but even I can look at it and be like, dude, that's a air filter. There's nothing impressive about it. And I'm not a car guy either. But this actually is, there's some good news to this. The fact that Kamala Harris is just brutally failing with black men. But there is some bad news as well. And I'll talk about what it is. The good news is for the Republicans, because Donald Trump represents exactly what Vince Everett Ellison was saying about being an alpha. He is masculine. He's very intense in terms of his ambition. Those are things that I think all men want, but especially black men, of course. And it's a red pill argument, and it works. And at the end of the day, elections, I'm not the first one to say this, but elections are referendums on people. So in 2016, right, people just hated Hillary Clinton. Some people really liked Donald Trump, but the independents didn't love Donald Trump. They just hated Hillary Clinton, so they voted for her. And unfortunately, it was the opposite in 2020. The question is, who is it going to be a referendum on this time? And what I'm saying is that it seems here that black men, for them, it's a referendum on those who don't stand for anything they stand for. And I think it's actually a very red pill argument. And the reason why I think that is good news for Republicans is because that means it's a referendum on Democrats, because Democrats are the opposite of red pill. However, it could mean, so it's a good thing for Republicans, but it could mean a bad thing for conservatives. And the reason why I say that is because what is motivating black men, again, this is according to Vince Everett Ellison, I can't speak for all black men, but let's just assume what he's saying is true. What is motivating black men to vote Republican is this red pill masculine movement, which is actually not a conservative movement at all. And it doesn't, and the reason why I say that is because the Red Pill movement, it does not promote marriage, which is probably the most conservative institution that we have. And it doesn't really promote religion either. So it could mean great things for this election cycle, which I'm all for. I want Donald Trump to build coalitions, and I want the referendum to be on Democrats. But we'll see if it makes people more conservative in the long run, especially black men. And I'm not sure if it's a very conservative reason to vote for Donald Trump. Again, a referendum on Democrats does not mean that someone's becoming more conservative, which is, as someone who is a conservative, one of my main goals. Obviously, I think Republicans are more poised to take care of this country than Democrats, but just on a personal note, I care a lot more about conservatism being spread than Republicans even winning, to be completely honest. And I believe most of the time those are in line, but on this one, I'm not actually so sure. And so what conservatives have to realize with this election cycle is this: if Donald Trump wins, it doesn't mean the battle is over. And this is something that a lot of conservatives get caught up with, is people like Bush win, and they think, well, Bush is a Republican, so conservatism is saved, and they're going to spread it. But then we look at Bush, and a lot of what he did was not so conservative. And we looked at there was actually quite a backlash to what he was doing, and then we got Obama. And so it just means, if Trump wins, it just means he won. It's that simple. The actual battle of spreading true conservative principles may have tons of work to do, even with a sweeping Trump victory, which, by the way, I'm totally a fan of. Before I show you one of my favorite videos of the weekend, guys, I do want to talk about Zinio Unlimited. Well, you've noticed it's harder and harder, guys, to get physical magazines that you actually like, and that is no longer the case with Zinio Unlimited. At ZinioUnlimited.com, you can get over 5,000 magazines digitally on your phone, so you can read them anytime. You can actually download them. This is my favorite feature of Zinio Unlimited. You can actually download them so you can look at them anytime. My link in the description below will even get you 30 days free. So give it a try. I mean, if you're someone that likes to read, this is an absolute must. Again, you're going to get 30 days free with that free trial in the link in the description below. If you're like me and you prefer an app as well, they do have an app, so just simply search Zinio Unlimited on iOS or Android and get that 30 days free, again, for over 5,000 digital magazines. Bill Maher had an interesting segment this weekend talking about black men and President Trump, and I have to play it for you guys. Here it is.
What did you think of Obama's comments on the campaign trail that black men should get over their reluctance to vote for Kamala? Will that be effective? Yeah, he was pretty scoldy. You don't usually see him like that. You usually see him kind of take this opposite.
I think Wall Street Journal and the New York Times poll most recently has overall black support for Trump over 20%, by the way. I think it might have been as high as...
That's just men.
I'm sorry, men, but we're speaking about the Obama speaking to the issue of black men and their support of Kamala Harris. So Trump is making inroads with that demographic, voting-wise.
He oddly does better each time with immigrants, minority groups, people of color, the people who you
Maybe it's not so odd.
I mean, it tells me that the Democrats are a little bit nervous, right?
When you're losing 4-1, you're still losing badly.
You are.
Come on. It's just relatively, yeah. I mean,
Democrats seem, perhaps there's anxiety, but there's also the realization that I think people are criticizing Obama because there is blame to go around for why people choose not to support a particular candidate. It might be sexism, it might be racism, it might be other factors as well. So I think to single out a particular group has ruffled some feathers. Having said that, if you're part of the group that believes you should not vote for someone on account of those factors, then perhaps the scolding could be doled out more diplomatically, but you should hear it as well.
but what is the attraction?
To Obama? Hold on.
No, to Trump.
Machismo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
It's, I mean,
he's a baller.
Success, alpha dog, the whole thing.
Yes.
That is the appeal.
I mean,
every time people have this, it's like the guy he's a billionaire, he's a global celebrity, he's been president,
What's
he's
the
married to a
supermodel?
supermodel. Yeah, like
And
I don't know.
and-
Democrats need to stop thinking that this is some big shock.
Who doesn't want to commit crimes and not go to jail?
So that last line from Bill Maher is borderline racist. That's why I was going to cut it off earlier, but then he said that and I was like, hold up. Black men will like Donald Trump because he's a convict. Yikes, Bill Maher. I kind of like a lot of what he said. I mean, he's a liberal. He's going to vote for Kamala Harris, but I kind of like what he has to say a lot of the times. But again, that was bad. You can't say stuff like that. Before I speak to the rest of this clip, though, I do want to show what Bill Maher was talking about when he was talking about Obama there at the beginning, in case you missed it, because Obama, frankly, was equally as racist. Here it is.
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences.
So that's insulting. Obama's message is if you don't like Kamala or you don't vote for her, you're crazy only if you're black. If you're one of those white MAGA extremists, yeah, that's fine. I mean, we know that. But if you're black and you're voting for Donald Trump, you're not black. Or in other words, you have to vote one way because of your skin color, which is racist. That is racist. I don't want to, it's an overused term, racism. But that is like the definition of racism. Just saying you have to do a certain thing because of your skin color, yeah, that's bad. And you'll remember, by the way, that's the same message that Joe Biden gave when he literally said, this is like a direct quote, he said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. He literally said that. That was probably more of an Obama impression than Biden. I don't know what that was. But here's the problem for Obama and Harris, guys. It turns out when you tell people that they have to do something because of their skin color, they don't really want to do it. They just don't want to. If any black man was watching now, which those videos got lots of views, so I guarantee lots of independent black men or even conservative black men saw that, and they went, screw you, Obama. Yeah, you're a black dude. Fine. But no, you don't get to tell us who we're voting for because of our skin color. We're individuals. I can only imagine that's what they're thinking. I hope they're thinking that, because anyone who supports someone who tells them that they have to support them because of their skin color, that person's just not. Don't support someone like that. I mean, they're just not worth your time. And by the way, I'm not saying that 50% of black men are going to suddenly go vote for Donald Trump, but I do think it will be record numbers. That's my prediction. And not black women. Black women are going to show up for Kamala Harris, unfortunately, but black men. And I do think it will sway the election, especially if you look at it in states like Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Well, guys, you've heard of Matt Walsh's What is a Woman? But did you know that Jordan Peterson has tons and tons of exclusive content on Daily Wire Plus? From his series on marriage to masculinity, his best stuff is exclusive on Daily Wire Plus. And with my link in the description below, as long with code Peterson, you'll get 35% off all of it. Of course, you'll get all the other amazing things on Daily Wire Plus. I believe Am I Racist is going to be on Daily Wire Plus. If you missed that in theaters, you can use that same link in the description below to go check that out. Again, use my link to support my channel, but also get 35% off at Daily Wire Plus. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please go down below, comment, like, and subscribe, and watch another video.